A retired jewel thief on the French Riviera must catch a copycat burglar to clear his name, helped by a cool, dazzling blonde. To Catch a Thief, 1955, is one of Alfred Hitchcock's most glamorous films, but its real story is stranger than any fiction. Cary Grant plays the reformed cat burglar John Roby. Grace Kelly plays the wealthy heiress Frances Stevens. Jessie Royce Landis plays her sharp, funny mother. Hitchcock filmed it all against the glittering coast of Monaco. Francie speeds a convertible along a cliff-edge road with Roby clutching his seat beside her. Behind the sparkle lies a fairy tale that came true, a tragedy waiting decades in the future, and a director slipping jokes past the censors. 20 facts, counting down. Fact 20. This film literally turned its leading lady into a real princess. Making the movie brought Grace Kelly to the French Riviera for the very first time. She fell in love with the glittering coast and the tiny kingdom of Monaco. Within 2 years, she had married its ruler, Prince Rainier, and become Princess Grace. On screen, she already carries herself like royalty. Francie glides through a ballroom in a golden gown, every inch a queen. Francie surveys the Riviera below her as if she already owns it. A Hollywood role quietly delivered one of the great fairy tales of the century. Fact 19. Grace Kelly first glimpsed her future home while filming. During a break in shooting, Kelly went sightseeing near the Palace of Monaco. She longed to tour the famous Grimaldi Gardens, but couldn't get permission that day. She had no idea she was standing outside what would one day be her home. On screen, that dreamy longing is everywhere. Francie gazes out over Monaco and marvels at the colors of the sea. Francie moves through the Riviera like a woman who already belongs there. A tourist peering through a gate was looking straight at her own future palace. Fact 18. Cary Grant came out of retirement to make it. 2 years earlier, Grant had announced he was quitting acting for good. He felt the new method stars had made his polished style obsolete. Hitchcock personally coaxed him back for this one film. On screen, Grant proves he was anything but finished. Roby slips across moonlit rooftops with the ease of a much younger man. Robbie charms, dodges, and outwits everyone around him. A supposedly retired star returned and kept working for 11 more years. Fact 17. Grace Kelly did her own driving on the deadly cliff roads. The film features a hair-raising car chase along the high corniche above Monaco. Kelly was required to do much of that dangerous driving herself, despite being a nervous driver. Grant reportedly sat white-knuckled beside her as she flew around the bends. On screen, the terror feels utterly genuine. Francie whips the convertible around blind cliff-edge curves as police give chase. Roby grips the door, forcing a calm smile he clearly doesn't feel. A frightened driver on real mountain roads made the danger absolutely real. Fact 16. The film's famous love scene is pure innuendo. Hitchcock couldn't show sex directly under the strict rules of the era, so during Francie's seduction of Robbie, he cut away to fireworks bursting outside the window. The exploding rockets stood in for everything the censors forbade. On screen, the meaning is unmistakable. Francie leans in close, diamonds glittering at her throat, and kisses Robbie. The fireworks erupt exactly as their embrace reaches its peak. A director banned from showing passion simply set the sky on fire instead. Fact 14. A simple picnic line slipped a dirty joke past the censors. Halfway through the film, Francie lays out a roadside picnic with Roby. She opens the hamper, turns to him, and asks if he'd like a leg or a breast. It is one of the boldest double meanings ever to sail past the censors. On screen, she delivers it with perfect innocent poise. Francie holds up the chicken and waits, utterly deadpan. Roby plays along, matching her cool little smile. A line about lunch became one of cinema's cheekiest flirtations. Fact 15. The censors still forced Hitchcock to cut it down. Even the clever fireworks trick wasn't enough for the film's watchdogs. Officials demanded that the couch love scene be trimmed before release. Hitchcock had to fade out of the embrace earlier than he wanted. On screen, the restraint only makes it more charged. Francie and Roby draw together as the sparks fly outside. The camera slips away at the crucial moment, leaving the rest to imagination. The more the censors cut, the more scandalous the scene somehow felt. Fact 13. The villain couldn't speak a word of English. A key role went to the veteran French actor Charles Vanel. He spoke almost no English at all during the entire production. Every one of his English lines had to be dubbed by another voice. On screen, you would never suspect a thing. Bertani, the sly restaurant owner, trades tense words with Roby. Bertani watches the cat burglar with a knowing, guarded eye. A leading character in an English-language film never actually spoke the language. Fact 12. The young rival did her own rooftop stunts. Roby's flirtatious young rival is the acrobatic Danielle. She was played by Brigitte Auber, a real-life athlete and trained performer. Auber scrambled across the tiles herself for the dangerous rooftop scenes. On screen, that agility is thrilling to watch. Danielle darts across the villa rooftops with fearless, cat-like ease. Danielle leaps between ledges where a stunt double would normally step in. A genuine acrobat gave the film's cat and mouse chases their real edge. Fact 10. Grace Kelly's screen mother later became Cary Grant's screen mother. The warm, witty older woman here is Francie's mother, Jessie. She was played by the actress Jessie Royce Landis. Just 4 years later, Landis would play Cary Grant's own mother in North by Northwest. On screen, she is a scene stealer either way. Francie's mother tosses off dry one-liners that leave her daughter exasperated. She sees straight through Roby's smooth charm in an instant. The same actress mothered two of Cary Grant's most famous characters. Fact 9. Edith Head dressed Kelly like the princess she'd become. Legendary designer Edith Head created Grace Kelly's wardrobe for the film. She gave her cool elegance by day and shimmering glamour by night. The gold ball gown for the finale looks fit for actual royalty. On screen, every outfit is a statement. Francie descends the grand staircase in a gown of pure spun gold. Francie turns heads in crisp blue and flawless white throughout. A costume designer dressed a soon-to-be princess before anyone knew she'd wear a crown. Fact 8. The film won an Oscar for its sun-drenched look.
The winner for color cinematography in New York, To Catch a Thief, Robert Burks.
Hitchcock shot the whole picture on location across the real French Riviera. Cinematographer Robert Burks captured the coast in glowing widescreen color. His work won the Academy Award for Best Cinematography. On screen, every frame looks like a postcard come alive. Roby races across rooftops bathed in warm Mediterranean light. Francie shines against the impossible blue of the sea and sky. A thriller this gorgeous practically dares you to book a holiday. Fact 7. Hitchcock hid himself on a bus beside Cary Grant. As always, the director slipped a cameo into his own film. Early on, Hitchcock sits quietly on a crowded local bus. He is planted right next to Grant, staring blankly ahead. On screen, it's a blink-and-you-miss-it treat. Robbie squeezes onto the bus, dodging the police on his trail. Robbie keeps his eyes down as the vehicle rumbles along the coast. The master of suspense was sitting just inches away the whole time. Fact 6. The charming thieves are all former resistance fighters. Roby's old criminal gang have a surprising past. In the story, they were pardoned for bravely fighting in the French resistance during the war. Hitchcock even named their little boat the Marquis Mouse, a sly wartime pun. On screen, they run a bustling seaside restaurant together. Roby returns to his old comrades as they chop vegetables and eye him warily. Roby leans on the men who once robbed and fought beside him. A cast of jewel thieves were quietly written as war heroes. Fact 5. Grace Kelly kept a quiet promise to Monaco years later. While filming, Kelly was turned away from the Grimaldi Gardens she longed to see. Years afterward, now Princess Grace, she invited the film's writer to the palace. Smiling, she told him, "Now, I can show you the garden." It was the very same garden she had been denied as a visiting actress. On screen, that quiet destiny seems to hover over her. Francie stands above Monaco, gazing at a coastline that would become her kingdom. A locked gate from the chute finally opened for her as its princess. Fact 4. Grace Kelly drove an ultra-rare blue sports car. Francie tears along the coast in a gleaming sky blue convertible. It was a rare British Sunbeam Alpine, the perfect car for a glamorous heiress. The elegant little roadster became almost as iconic as its driver. On screen, car and star are a matched pair. Francie handles the convertible with cool, careless confidence. Francie sweeps around the cliffs as the sea flashes far below. A rare sports car helped make one of cinema's most stylish drives. Fact 3. The whole thriller glows without a single shadow. Most suspense films of the era hid their menace in darkness and rain. Hitchcock did the opposite, drenching this one in bright Mediterranean sun. Even the tense nighttime rooftop scenes seem to shimmer and glow. On screen, the effect is dazzling and unusual. Roby prowls the tiles under a warm, glittering sky. Francie sparkles through scene after scene of pure daylight glamour. A cat-and-mouse thriller became the sunniest film Hitchcock ever made. Fact 2. This was Grace Kelly's very last film with Hitchcock. Kelly had become the director's favorite leading lady across 3 pictures. This glamorous Riviera romance would be the final one they ever made together. Soon after, she left Hollywood entirely to become a princess. On screen, she gives one of her most radiant performances. Francie matches Roby wit for wit and never once blinks. Francie ends the film exactly where she wants to be. Hitchcock's ultimate cool blonde walked away from movies at the very peak. Fact 1. Grace Kelly's fairy tale ended in tragedy on the Riviera. Decades after the film, sorrow found its fairy tale star. In 1982, Princess Grace suffered a stroke while driving high above Monaco. Her car went off one of the steep coastal roads, and she did not survive. For years, people believed it was the very road she had raced along with Grant. Her own son has since insisted it was not the same stretch at all. On screen, she flies along those sunlit cliffs, laughing, fearless, alive. Francie takes the curves with joy, never dreaming what those roads would one day mean. A glittering fairy tale and a quiet heartbreak are bound together on the same beautiful coast. From a fairy tale romance to fireworks smuggled past the censors, To Catch a Thief was always far more than a glossy caper. Its leading lady stepped off the screen and into a crown and into history. Subscribe for more secrets hiding inside the films you thought you knew. Some movies don't just tell a story, they change a life forever.